losing Silas, which is far from favorable, but he can backseat game like no other. The guy has got a big brain on him, so hopefully he'll be able to deliver that information back on over. Arcred on the north side. They sent their third-party tendrils out towards the fight we were looking at before between the Boars and ETSH. They are still holding a nice central area, and they have managed to get that regroup going on. On that south side, Alliance, who are looking to convert on that big elimination game and looking to keep that points tally going. And it seems that they'll be safe for the time being. E-Arena late to the party on the west, though, and they are just passing school. They'll be pushing in, maybe towards Influence Rage, who are also on that north side. For now, the top three teams are kind of out of the thick of it. They can bide their time.
Yeah, I think that for Regnum Kari in particular, it's a frustrating one because this is a very typical position for Regnum Kari as well, John. Not having Silas here is frustrating because you do want multiple sight lines available, especially when people start to crash over towards Shelter too. Not having 4 players there does make your life pretty difficult. I think all 3 of those players, though, are capable of taking a 3v4. It's just you don't really want to have to take a 3v4 in the first place. Alliance, I like this spot. They are sending a player out wide up the hill, though, to try and scout out. I don't really want to let too many players get over towards the Wizard Tower and have an oversight down towards you. But right now should be okay. A little bit quieter. Again, I am really liking the rotations here in Group Red for a lot of our teams.
Yeah, you're a big fan. You love it. You love it so much. And rightly so. I think that it is certainly interesting, especially early on in a new group, right? To watch those rotational dynamics, to see how teams start to feel each other's positions out and get a feel for just how their pace of their games need to go. We'll see if that continues because we still do have, well, not quite 3 days, but the majority of our 3 days left to go. And our next circle will again reveal more about the rotational proclivities of our circle teams. And it goes all the way up to the northwest. More about the rotational proclivities of our circle teams, and it goes all the way up to the northwest. I mean, this is great for Influence Rage, right? It's great for E-Arena potentially as well to hold this out. Twisted Minds, I mean, it would be great. Twisted Minds, I mean, it would be great if they were all on the Tudo spot, right? In the middle of that zone. Or rather, just Ichi with a scrap against GPay. Still at a... Still at Hovercraft, get on the bike, get out of there. Burmese Ghouls, you don't want to be sticking around too long. The blue zone's here to play. But yeah, Yatka doesn't have that position under lock. MK will be taken down with the side swipe. Will be immediately flushed as well. Ichi can't land the shots, but neither, it seems, can Burmese Ghouls. Over the top they go. And they just not finding it.
Was basically surfboarding on top of the hovercraft. It's not a hoverboard, just so we're all aware.
Looking real Marty McFly with that one.
Yeah, it's just weird. Just a weird fight.
I don't know if I think I enjoyed it, but I don't think I liked it, you know? I think it's one of those ones. It was fun, but very, very unprincipled. We'll see if they can pick things up because both of those two teams now, the Burmese Ghouls having a real tough time of it. Nuclear Zone, they move up north towards Virtus Pro, and they have been spotted. Fajita is down in the open, and Virtus Pro aren't going to let that one go. They will keep that pressure up. Next circle is going to take us central. No, it's going to go north. Hey, look who's there. It's Influence Rage.
That's kind of frustrating for a lot of teams. Influence Rage getting these circles is unbelievable. You can zone with a nade over the top there. to find some damage over towards Voston, who was the front man for the squad. Malloy now immediately has to recover this position. It goes very, very long. Doesn't get too much value off the back of it. Weibo playing a pretty good spot right now. I think teams are going to start to lock into this tomorrow, by the way, in terms of the rotations. I think there'll be a lot more central teams because there are a ton of areas quite frequently that are open to rotate through. I think that changed. I will come towards the latter half of the day today, or be very much something that's considered tomorrow. Milky Way, that is a crazy play from you, but I guess you have to marshal the defensive here whilst the res goes off.
Yeah, he's going to be able to hold that line, stop Nuclear Zone from getting too close. Arthur, a clenched fist right now. Oh, I wish I could have stopped him, but no. First Pro actually sending out into the blue zone. I don't dislike it. They're against the headland, and they know where Arthur's playing. The zone is available up on towards that east side for now. They can beat the crunch on that east edge, but where do you go from there? Because it's a direct transition in towards Influence Rage from this point.
It is Pro. I'll go for the wrap. Towards Influence Rage. Okay. What is Law doing right now? I mean, some fantastic shots by Lil Boy and Diego. I guess the distraction play works. But yeah, that's very much off the back of some unbelievable shots from the rest of the squad.
Yeah. That was pretty big. I think the idea for Influence Rage was to flex out in third party. I don't think they realized that Virtus Pro had actually gotten as far north as they had.
Yeah.
So they were flexing out to try and take them down, right? So for Federal, for Law, they were trying to create that line, get a couple more elims on board. But a brilliant response, as you said, from Influence Rage. When Law came under fire, immediately Federal, Diego both snapped into action. So that's exactly what you want to see, is the ability to correct your missteps.
So for Virtus Pro, it looks like a weird play. The only thing I can think right now is that they assume a team's playing in Mansion and then they're all in one vehicle. So what they're hoping to do is to do the old, you know, Evel Knievel stunt where you go up the hill, you end up on the roof, and then they try and fight out as a three. It's a pretty dangerous play. It's the one that has high value if it works out. It's massively risky, but it all goes to nothing, like you say, because I think Influence Rage is looking third party, so they spot it way earlier than they potentially should have done, because Law is doing some crazy maneuvers on the outside. I think there, honestly, Influence Rage gets very lucky.
The Rippers moving through. Nuclear Zone gave them some trouble. Hydro did go down. Ooh, there's the lineup from Weibo, and they've been on a tough side of this zone. The approach not going to happen. They do win the fight with Nuclear Zone in the end, but they bite the dust for it. 3 elims found on the match, and on the southeast side, they go down. Influence Rage finally don't get a zone shift right on top of them, which is going to be good news for Weibo, actually, and potentially for Regnum Kaya here.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, the 3 teams that I was looking at in this lobby in the first place were actually these 3 anyway, is Weibo, Regnum Kaya, as well as Influence Rage. I think Influence Rage is a fantastic squad overall, and always has been. But those are the key teams that stand out to me. Regnum Kaya now fending off versus Alliance. Now Zed Wolf left remaining all in this lonesome.
Oh!
And they survive with the help of Weibo from the distance.
For how long, right? Zed Wolf really can't stand up here. Needs to drop a smoke, and there's more players moving in. Ragnarok, you're not getting past Zed Wolf. The Wolf's on the hunt, but he is the last to stand now. No teammates left to pick up, and he's going to be solo. GPay going to roll on in. They lost 1. Will they lose any more? No, because it's just the 1 player. Zed Wolf, you can't be doing this to him. No, Zed just about keeps them safe, but the rest of GPay are going to fall like flies too. Oh my days, Zed Wolf with a real standout play there, but cannot stand up to the test of 3 teams crashing.
Oh, that is the lone wolf and a half right there. Incredibly well done from Zed Wolf, though. That's why they picked him up, for those moments in particular. Insane moves. Kind of salvages the game a little bit for Regnum Kaya too, with the 5 elims off the back of that.
Ooh, that is a little bit of a stopgap for them. The 5 elims, no placement points for them, though. I mean, you're right. It will keep them up with pace, but they do still want more. It's good to see, though, that Zed Wolf still has that glint in his eye, that little glimmer. DRX looking for it as well against Team Flash, but they are not going to be allowed in towards the museum. Not this time around. Team Flash holding it out. Keep the spray down going over towards Arcred. That looks like a good start, but there's more to do, and Tops is on the ball. He's looking for the last players alive now. I think it's just easy for Bad Boy on the outside, and that is dismantled. A really solid hold coming through from Team Flash on the south edge blank. They're up to 10 elims, and we do have a new pretender to the podium.
Yeah, good stuff. I mean, Flash had a extremely central spot very early on and have maintained it very well with the 10 elims, like you say. Weibo up to 6 now, so they're on the hunt towards the top side of the lobby. Twisted Minds. What is going on with this team right now? They are better than this. I know that they're better than this. But it's been some very odd approaches.
And another. Into the fight. There's it. He can't hold it. Not like Zedwolf. Judo has been knocked, and that is all the way on the outside. And another team takes up the bunker. The vehicles start piling up, Blank. Eventually, you're going to have an impenetrable wall here.
Oh, they sort of already have. It's really the scrapyard on that side of the map for Twisted Minds. But it's E-Arena again, as well as Influence Rage and Weibo. Constantly being towards these end games right now. I think with Influence Rage and E-Arena has been a phenomenal day.
I mean, Weibo have been chiming in with the elims. 6 so far. E-Arena less so with 2. They were quiet in their last time around, and again, they didn't profit too much because of that. They're not getting stuck in this time either, but keeping up consistency, especially when you have those big games under the belt, is so important. They're still over that 10-point average already, Blank, not even including any of the matches that they, or any of the rest of the points that they get in this match. Influence Rage, they're a little bit louder with 4, but they were playing up in heaven, and they got that VP spray down, which is where those points have come from. Team Flash, they're going to streak out towards E-Arena, though, and the South Point on the 2-2. There's only 2 of them. Can they hold it?
NC2, a good lineup over towards Flash at the moment. But it is a good initial roll down. It's down to Joker. He falls, and it's a big job now for Sakura versus Bose. Can he hit the target?
It's a 1v1. And Lil Boy's chiming in as well. They've got Influence Rage with the flex outs towards it. Sakura is on his lonesome here. Bose, same story. Weibo have moved in, Blank. They've rolled straight up to this hill. They hear what's going on. They're flexing out from the southeast side. Influence Rage can't control it, and they are just going to get crunched in the pinch here. Team Flash having a real tough time of it. Speed Force not working out for them. And Weibo deal the final blow. A lot of points earned for E-Arena there, though, Blank. And that is 6 on their tally. So despite only having 1 player alive, 4th place in a 6 Elim game, that's still going to be happy.
Good wrap from Weibo. Only sending 2 players as well. I think they heard and saw how disastrous that engagement went. Out comes the hovercraft, though, and it's still going strong at this stage of the game. Sakura jumps in the buggy. He doesn't want anything to do with this.
Oh, they know where Sakura is. Federal, swap to that side seat. Go on, you know you want to. No, he's going to play it a little bit more sensibly. Play up to the ridgeline and look for control. They have given up that position on the northeast side. They're leaving just Lil Boy out there, but in the meantime, Twisted Minds kind of the only team in the middle. I mean, you just crash a couple more vehicles in there. It is a full compound, right? It's really nasty stuff, though, and Twisted Minds are going to survive because of it. Sakura caught high and dry right now. Diego trying to send around. Federal trying to hold off against Weibo in the meantime.
I mean, he's been very secretive, though. Somehow remaining in it, but the tags there, that's pretty disastrous for him. Good shots from Lil Boy at distance as well. That should be Sakura going down. E-Arena out, strolls in towards our top 3 with Twisted Minds in what seems to be a fortress, the center of the map of scrap iron. And mind that nade is pretty on target.
Ooh, just the one for the knocks on that. Law, though, will try and flush it out. He might just find Walsh in the meantime. That's going long. It's actually pretty difficult to land the nades into this one because of where the vehicles sit. There's a lot of cover, and you can see it's not doing too much damage. They're all burnt out, sure, but their protection from that shrapnel, though they are getting forced and the nades are dropping a little bit shorter. Pop up. Oh, the bobble around. It just goes over the bonnet. It's surprising how difficult that spot is to nade, it seems.
Yeah, with you throwing it in between the vehicles, and any kind of LOS you can get on the nade is basically no damage. But Weibo, they're starting to move up right now, and you got Federal on the off angle, as well as Lil Boy. Diego and Law, the only two players that are close together, and Weibo's trying to find that position on the map where they can push the spear through the armor.
Hero flexing out Lil Boy to match. Behind the rock, Hero actually corralling the man in now, and two players from WBG holding that flank down. The back line for Souk is completely under control. They've actually moved all three players up that north side, and now Orders streaking down the middle. With Twisted Minds out, they can start to establish on that bunker. They can play that same spot, but with off angles to complement it.
Why do we have the bow here, Souk? I know it's your specialty, but I don't really think there's any areas here where he needs it. I think he'd be better off with the shotgun right now. I think he's fantastic with it, but it's not like he has to hold down any angle with it right now. Maybe you get hit the vehicle potentially in the back, but I don't know. I'll wait and see. It is always exciting. Okay, it's his speciality. Thank you.
All right. You know what? If WBG win PMGC, we're starting a campaign to get a Souk skin for the bow, I reckon, for the explosive bow. That's what we want. Only if they win, though. Otherwise, we get no help from us. I'd love to see it. Influence Rage. Haven't been able to do too much damage to Weibo, who've been allowed to set themselves up quite nicely here. Diego hopping out. Down in the dirt. They're worried about the flank, and I think rightly so. If you get rid of Hero, and all of a sudden you can start to line up, but that's a really good opening pick for Tech3Z, stepping up forwards, getting that first knock. Influence Rage. I mean, they're going to suffer to these nades. There's 24 nades and more in the boxes for Weibo, and none for Influence Rage. I didn't even look up at the utility before, but okay, yeah, this is done and dusted. Weibo win, for sure.
Yeah, it's been a great game from Weibo. It's been a great game, and I think that my favorite thing about this game is that Souk put the bow and arrow down. He put it down, which is something that he refused to do in previous international tournaments, even in these moments where it didn't make sense. I think he's the one player that can find an unbelievable amount of value of it, but I do think he needs to put it down sometimes, and that's great. It's good news. It's great news, in fact. Yeah, Order's just like, I'm finishing this job now.
With a million boxes and the burnt out wreckage of half the teams in the lobby, Weibo able to close this one down. Influence Rage, though, it's not doom and gloom for them. They have 5 elims in a second place, would be brilliant. Diego, gonna give it a fair crack, but Order spots him in the grass. It will be taken down. Weibo Gaming able to find a chicken dinner, adds to their elim tallies, adds to their points. And this top section of the table is looking pretty happy. Weibo certainly more expressive on their victory there as well. Maybe with some of the more happy we've seen teams going, and the celebration comes through. Nice stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really good game. To be honest, it was a really good game. Some maneuvers around. And yeah, again, I think the big thing for me is definitely going through from Souk, which is like, it's not always the best time to have this weapon out. I'm going to switch it. Like I said, I don't want anyone to think that I'm BMing him, because I think he is the only player in the entirety of PubG Mobile that finds a massive amount of value from that weapon. I don't think anyone else can, but it's not always optimal.
Absolutely. Beautiful stuff for the PEL representatives. Weibo, they have a good time closing down that game. We're going to have a good time with the desk.
That last game was an esports PubG Mobile symphony. And Weibo were the conductors. Are you kidding me? They controlled this lobby so immaculately, Max, man. That is how you do it.
Oh, the puppeteers of this game. Everyone playing in the palm of their hand. The execution was beautiful from start to finish. And especially it was respectful. It's not just Nitro that were going in and just blasting everyone with their guns. No, like the strategy behind every move they made this game was just a 10 out of 10 from start to finish. And in particular, they had this big fight on the southern edge, 2-2 split. I was like, oh, that's a bit much. But they're so respectful that they don't suffer any casualties in those engagements, and then they just easily control the terrain, take it home, and it's so good, in fact, that Sook takes 0 damage this entire match. He is him.
He is him. He is so him. I love how they played this, and you were talking about them being really respectful, right? It's like they know exactly how much they need to do to pressure other teams with minimal fallback on themselves, right? They don't go all in. They know that just letting people know that they're there right over that ridge, like we could come over at any time, but we're not going to, but just in case, we could, right? It brings that unsettling feeling to the rest of the players. I will say, Influence Rage played that beautifully. Like, they were trying to cut off Weibo. They were trying to cut them off. They were trying to do different things. They were very, very careful. It was just a battle of the biggest brains, to be honest, in my view, right? You just had these two teams trying different things all the time. It was really great.
Man, look at that. 3 eliminations from every single player. I'll tell you what, if you guys are basketball fans, that they played this one like the 2014 San Antonio Spurs. The fundamentals were just so good. It's like they were in every single team's heads. They're like, all right, you're going to go here. We're just going to roll up on this hill, throw a couple nades here and there. And they just forced everybody to just play their game. Yeah. And they clutched up a beautiful chicken dinner here. I mean, that is how esports PubG Mobile is played to perfection, Max.
I'm sure we're gonna have some people also in the comments or after this game saying, oh, like it wasn't that like impactful of a game, it wasn't that wow. But it doesn't have to be. Sometimes being calm, cool, and collected is all you need to get a win. And in this case, Weibo showed exactly how it was done in this specific area next to Alamo on this Erangel match in particular. Though we're seeing some of the replays, Museum Fight, Arcred, in my opinion, bit of a rough send over there, kind of sending it one by one every once in a while. Not the best play, and Flash easily able to abuse that in their favor. You can see Nazed a big disappointment there, Nitro. He was not happy about that fight.
No, he wasn't. It's really tough. That whole dip is actually really interesting, right? Because it was really busy this entire game. That one dip, everybody wanted it. And you had Z-Wolf fending off like 3 different teams. You had Nerzet at the end trying to do something there, but it just wasn't happening. So, yeah, that dip was a really surprising little piece of land that everybody wanted as we look over to the top 4 team rotations. And we do see Influence Rage again in this top 2 spot. They keep on doing it, and they had the longest rotation, to be honest. So big old northern rotation coming in from them. Love to see that wraparound, but they were one of the teams, both them and E Arena had big old splits on the north side. I think as we get into the next phase here, yeah, you can see that, right? Big old rotation coming around, lots of splits coming in, and that regroup comes on through. But a very different story for Flash and Weibo, right? Just very holding on to those compounds, just chilling until they need to.
I mean, I want you to look at Weibo right now in particular. Flash, next circle, forcing them away. E Arena currently fighting to the western side. Flash, big southern western rotation. And look, the 2-2 split third party, and they don't overpeak it. This is really what I want to highlight about this push from Weibo. They get there, but they just don't show their character models. They just stay in a really safe spot. They start nading over the ridge, easily get third party, get a few eliminations while taking very minimal risk, Hot Juice. I was, again, a bit scared about that 2-2 split push, but for me, that was played to, I know I said perfect a lot, but that was literally a perfect way to execute that game plan.
Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, these guys knew exactly what to do with this game. And if they continue this kind of play style, they're going to be pretty tough to stop. I mean, also, I mean, you got to give a big shout out to Influence Rage, right? I mean, top 2 finishes for the first 3 matches today, guys. I mean, what more can you ask for? And you get EA still extending themselves into the late game. We're already down 3 matches. We got 3 more left to go. But I mean, we got some standout teams here, Max. That's for sure.
Oh, for sure. I mean, Influence Rage playing Heaven. And we know, Niptra, when you have a circle finish around here, guess what? Heaven is the best location to play. Unless you're Sook. And in that case, any location is really good to play because he has the explosive bow, which he did change at the end. And I'm going to blame Blank for that. He made himself conscious. He swapped the explosive bow, but This man alone is responsible for changing the meta. That's what I'm gonna say.
I love as well Sook's positioning, right? Because he played anchor for his team. It's one of my favorite splits to play or to see other teams play is this anchor position where you have 3 players working kind of in a half circle around one player, and that one player was Sook, just holding down their position, holding down the fort, and letting the rest of his team do their job. So really love that. With that performance, they're into the top 3, not by much, sure, but they put themselves into that conversation, Max.
They were in 5th position before this one, now jumping up into the top 3 position. 35 points for them, really happy to see it. E-Arena, Influence Rage still going to be holding on to that 1st and 2nd place respectively, so they're going to be happy about that one. The bottom of the leaderboards, no, a lot of downwards arrows here, Hot Jukes. Unfortunately for them, it seems like they are definitely not building any kind of momentum so far, so there's still a lot of time, of course. It's only 3 games in, but when you only have 3 days worth of action, you don't want to stay down there for too long.
That's for sure. Well, let's take it on over to a quick break, guys. We'll be right back in just a minute.